the wing. Wilkinson knocked away. Port Melbourne doing better, and Evans getting away, slapping it up towards the half-forward flank. Over there is O'Reilly, his mark. Good mark to O'Reilly. Very difficult customer to handle is that fellow, and he's looking for Cook, and Cook's in front. Douglas not happy about that, because Cook grabbed Douglas by the arm before it all started. And look at that crowd, and here it is on replay.
Well, let's see what he does. You can see that Cook actually did push Douglas away there on the chest, but you know, it's a doubtful one.
Well, they're the rubs of the game, and here's Cook looking for goal number 4, and there it is, a goal to Port Melbourne, and it's 17-19 to 15-8 on the Olympic Tyres scoreboard, and that at the 14-minute mark might have wrapped it up.
Well, I think it has wrapped it up. We feed Preston score there, 26-10, Paran 17-10, so they could be out of it. Paran, Frankston 17-6, leading Caulfield 12-19. Here's an interesting one here. Dandenong is 6 points behind Camberwell there, Phil. Yes. And the Sandringham, Geelong West, Sandringham are down also.
And we've got a couple of fights going on around the place at the moment as the play goes on. I don't mean on the field, I mean in the crowd. And here's Wilkinson now getting the hand pass to Goss. Goss tries to get it further afield. He gets it to Christo, who snap shoots for goal, and it could be another one. Cook desperately tried to take the mark, but it's gone through for 1 point. So we have Port Melbourne now on 17-20, 122, leading Coburg 15-8, 98. How'll it be when these two sides meet in the second semi-final at the Junction Oval? And there it goes towards the half-back line, and the mark taken by Evans. Incidentally, next Wednesday night we'll be giving you progressive counting in the Liston Trophy vote at 7:30, and also at 8:30 the final voting as Christo has the ball, snaps for goal for Port Melbourne, and he's put it through again for another goal to Port. Immediately, it's Anderson getting it down to Goss. They're running away at the moment, Port. It comes towards Allender, but trying to take it on the second bounces Nemo, or the second grab, and Nemo with a good mark. Nemo now. He puts it across here towards the half-back line, and it's Bird who races away with it. Bird up towards centre half forward. Players move into it, and another Coburg mark has been taken here, and this time by Gary Pitt. Pitt now at his kick towards the centre forward zone. Up they fly for it, and it's Milroy down there to come in and take the mark. So Milroy has the chance to try and bridge this gap a little. I'd still say there's 15 minutes left in the game, so there's still a chance for Coburg to come back. Both sides that have the chance of breaking into the four over and above Paran are both down at the present time, but we'll keep you informed on those matches as time goes on. There's the kick from Milroy, and he's put it through for goal to Coburg. Coburg now go to 16-8, a total of 104. Port Melbourne 18-20, 128. And what's happening over there in the second division, second semi? Bill Barrett.
Yarraville are fighting back very hard, Bill.
Back here, and we have the bounce of the ball taking place from umpire Roy Groom.
Right in the centre of the ground, and coming out with the ball is Fisher. Oh, a long hand pass right out into the open spaces. Oh, no, and a push in the back there, but play on, says the umpire. Smith tries to get the ball across into a position where he can get control of it down on the ground. Players going in desperately now, and the umpire will ball it up. We've now played 17 minutes into the final quarter. Very late today. Port Melbourne 18-20, 128. Coburg 16-8, 104. Port Melbourne in control of the game at this stage. Can Coburg come back? That's the question. Right now, let's have a look at the action. Going in, trying to pick it up is Goss, but the umpire again will call for a bounce. It's in the... just checking some scores. Camberwell 15-14, 104. Dead level with Dandenong. 15-14, 104, and they'll want to win that game, Dandenong. Well, the crowd at the moment calling for Port Melbourne as Amundsen, the big man for Port Melbourne, will take the kick. It's on the outer side of the ground, right in front of our, well, just down from our broadcast box position. There's the kick now coming across, trying to get the ball. In fact, Will is Goss, but he has it swept away from him by Saltmarsh. Saltmarsh gets an awkward-looking kick into the forward pocket, and it'll go over the line and out of bounds. Waiting for the throw-in. Just checking the scores again. Port Melbourne 18-20, 128. Coburg 16-8, 104. The margin 4 goals. Players going in desperately for the ball now, very scrambly at the moment, and the umpire, Roy Groom, will call for the ball again. Well, the commentators were critical of Roy Groom up until half-time, his umpiring, but I feel he's got more control and doing a much better job now, Phil.
Yes, he's got the message, Rob.
Well, Westcombe going in, and in fact we'll get a free kick there, pushing the back to Westcombe. Long way out from goal. I doubt if he could kick it from there, although he does have the assistance of that breeze. He's already kicked one. Coburg need this goal badly. Just coming up to the 20-minute mark. This would be a very handy goal for Coburg. There's the kick. It's going in, but it's come offline. Umpire comes across and says 1 point only. Another behind to Coburg. They're trailing Port Melbourne. Port Melbourne 18 goals 20, 128. Coburg 16-9, 105, and here again is Bill Jacobs.
Well, O'Neill, who's played splendidly today in holding Smith, about to kick the ball back into play, and your Olympic Tyre scoreboard shows the result thus far at the 20-minute mark in the last term. Annanson, where experience is great for a team. Big Vic Annanson, who's outpointed Milroy, bringing it around up to centre wing. Wilkinson nearly a chance, spoiled by O'Reilly. Burke, a little fortunate. To Tully. Tully getting it up towards the half-forward line. O'Neill backs his judgment, slapped it away, and Smith was coming up about 3 metres behind O'Neill. The boundary umpire has to do the work now at the 21-minute mark in the final term, with Port holding sway and keeping Coburg out. It looked like Annanson again into the pack. A chance for Coburg, and they'll get away through Halbert. His hand pass was chopped off. Herbert came in, couldn't clear, and over the line it goes again. 16-9 Coburg, trailing Port 18-20. 32 scoring shots, Port 38 scoring shots. Annanson gets the free kick across to Goss. A little bit of drizzle coming down, and Goss plants the ball up towards centre wing. It was O'Reilly's fist to Obeya. A good kick to position in a sense by Obeya, looking for the line. My word, he did. He had nobody to kick it to. Cook was lagging behind Douglas, who came up to meet it, and Obeya went for the line successfully. Yarraville have been defeated by Brunswick in the second semi-final of second division. 130 points to 108, and here it looks like Port kicked in mid-air by Tully, and Tully to the line.
Right, Bill Barrett, could you give us a very quick summary on the game over there at Toorak Park?
Right, Phil, reserved by Brunswick to go into the grand final.
Right, thank you, Bill Barrett, for the report from there, and we'll be with you again next week in the preliminary final in second division.
Annanson to Curran was good football for Port Melbourne, very close to the line, and it's over and out, and Port have got it wrapped up. 23.5 minutes into this final term in front of a great crowd here at Port Melbourne, and high there was Beattie, but couldn't get it to a player. Annanson, cool, calm, and even collected on that occasion towards centre half forward to O'Reilly. For once couldn't grab, but Allender gets it away, headed toward the open goal, and it's offline for a point. But Port can start singing their club song. I think they're 121 points to 105.
Well, it's certainly one of the best VFA games that I've seen in 3 years, Bill. There's no doubt about that, and the big crowd have loved every moment of it. In fact, the crowd now realise the writing is on the wall, and they're starting to move. Well, it's Douglas now kicking to the grandstand side of the ground, and there's the score between Preston and Paran. And Preston 29-11, 185. Preston 18-11, 119. And Preston, Caulfield and Frankston. Frankston 19-6, 120. Caulfield 13-20, 98. Camberwell 15-14, 104. Dandenong 15-14, 104. Levels pegging. And Sandringham 16-13, 109. Leading Geelong West 16-11, 107. Some very interesting scores there. And there's some interesting action on the ground as O'Reilly, the big man for Port Melbourne, has a free kick. He'll take it right on the 10-metre square. He's already kicked one as the rain is starting to pelt down now. Well, this will certainly seal it if he gets this one. There's the kick, the umpire. It's a goal, no doubt about it. Full points to Port.
And Port Melbourne 19-21 to Coburg 16-9, 135 to 105. Into the last quarter and coming up towards the time on period. Onto Coburg's forward line. Smith, tackled by Hall, breaks the tackle. Up to the goal square. And Port Melbourne players galore up there. And that's Davies. Frankston have defeated Caulfield. There's Davies coming out for Port to boot it further upfield. Wilkinson thumping down. A chance here for Port, and they'll get away through Johnston, and Johnston's kick, as you saw, is out of bounds on the full, and the free kick is Coburg's way to be taken by Curran. Curran directing it in towards the centre of the ground, as we're into the time on period by about 1 minute. And it's too late for Coburg. Port doing it well, and Christo playing beautiful football to O'Reilly. And he hugs it to Dermott, streaming downfield, too long, holding the ball. And it's against Dermott. But Port have got it wrapped up. Halbert, probably Coburg's best player, and would vie for the honours on the ground. Across to Curran. Curran hooking back towards centre wing. But Johnston will come away for Port Melbourne and get it to teammate Wilkinson. Wilkinson from half-back flank or half-forward flank. And there was a push in the back there, and I thought it might have gone to Allender, but it's gone to Douglas.
Camberwell have defeated Dandenong, so that puts Dandenong out of contention for the 4. It's a matter now between Sandringham and Geelong West, and we should have that result through pretty soon, Bill.
Anytime now, coming through on 10. You're watching this live on 10. A great game of football. Taking it away is O'Neill. And it goes to the flank. And Port Melbourne racing away now. Coming upfield was Swan to Cook. And I've seen worse than that played. But down to the ground. And the slippery ball now is making it difficult for players to handle it as rain pours down.
Right, and all we're waiting on now is the result of that Sandringham game. If they win, they're in the 4. They're in the final 4, Sandringham, if they can beat Geelong West. And what a turn-up that'll be for the VFA as far as attendances are concerned. That comes down towards Christo. Christo shoots it up towards goal, and Cook has taken a spectacular mark. Running in the same direction as the ball. Stumbles into it, drags himself up off the ground. He's had a big day. He's had the adrenaline running right from the start. And we'll have a look at him take this one again as he moves into it. And down he goes.
A television mark, Phil.
For sure. He's kicked 4 goals, 6. You said it, Ted. Cook has kicked 4 goals, 6 with heavy rain falling here at Port Melbourne. He comes in and will put it through for 1 point. So that takes the score. Port Melbourne 19-22, 136. To Coburg 16-9, 105. Well, we're just waiting on that other vital game to see who's in the 4. Sandringham, a progressive score, defeating Geelong West by the look of it. Sandringham 17-13, Geelong West 16-11. So at this moment, we have Sandringham in the final 4. As the ball is returned now, and it'll be taken by Douglas of Coburg. Douglas towards the half-back line. Players move out to it off the hands of the pack to Grant O'Reilly. O'Reilly of Port Melbourne keeps it low to Christo, and Christo moves in rather quickly to take a good mark. Now Christo gets ready for the kick at the 29-minute mark, and I would imagine this will be about a 35-minute quarter. Now, if Sandringham win down there today, they'll meet Geelong West again next week in the first semi-final. There goes the ball on its way. It's offline, and 1 point is the result. So that takes Port Melbourne to 19-23, 137, to Coburg 16-9, 105. And don't forget, we'll have the Liston Trophy voting on Channel 10, 7:30, a quick report on Wednesday night, and then the final of the counting at 8:30 on Channel 10 next Wednesday night. And don't forget our Deafness Fund appeal all day next Saturday, and Rob Asprey, the whole sporting team, will be there to entertain you through the morning, and then Overseas Stars right throughout the afternoon and evening on Channel 10 with the Nerve Deafness Fund appeal next Saturday. And it's Swan taking the mark out on the half-forward line for Port Melbourne. Port Melbourne now have this one wrapped up. Leading well at the present time. We're at the 30-minute mark into the final quarter. Bill.
Rain, hail, shine, or whatever, it comes up to the Port Melbourne full forward spot, and O'Reilly takes the mark. O'Reilly has a very sure grip on the ball. He's kicked 2 goals and a very useful part of the Port Melbourne machinery is this fellow. Port have played well to win this one. They've done it well. At one time I thought Coburg were coming back, but Port consolidated. It's a point to O'Reilly, 19-24 to 16-9 on the Olympic Tyre scoreboard. And Coburg have got plenty to think about because Port have beaten them twice this year. 33 points the margin as Douglas boots it back into play. A spectacular mark by Goss, but before doing so, it was a free kick. Sandringham have increased their lead to 14 points over Geelong West. As the ball finds its way into the centre, it was Fisher to flip it across there to Herbert. Herbert in turn further upfield to Hartigan. In trouble. The umpire was a little kind then. It allowed Davies to come in for Port Melbourne, intercepted by Fisher, but there's Holt. Holding the ball is the call against Sammy. And the free kick will be taken by Burt of Coburg, who was the one player that Coburg wanted to lift and didn't.
Right now, here goes the kick up towards the centre forward zone. Players rise. No one can take the mark down here. Coming through is Robert Smith. He goes for the hand pass, and it's missed this time by Herbert. But it comes through to Anderson. Anderson didn't know where to go for a moment. Gets it to Goss. Goss balks nicely, then dribbles it off the ground. Gets it across towards Swan. Swan of Port Melbourne goes for a hand pass up here in the direction of Christo. Christo's come into a lot of play here in the last quarter to Allender, and Allender has taken the mark on the stand wing. Gets the lead from O'Reilly. He fell right into the ball and takes the mark very low to the ground. So let's check off the scores here in the final quarter. Port Melbourne 19-24. There's the siren, 138. Defeating Coburg 16-9, 105. So there's the final score, and it looks as though Sandringham have defeated Geelong West, so that means Sandringham are in the final 4. Paran go out of it. So next week, we'll see in the first semi-final in First Division, Sandringham playing Geelong West. We hope you've enjoyed the match here today, but before we sign off, Ted Henry's the best player for the Seidel products, the $50 in cash, and also the Puma boots and bag.
Yes, Phil, I've given to Jim Christo of Port Melbourne for a great game over 4 quarters.
And then to the mark of the day by Gillette, the $50 in cash and the Gillette products.
Well, that went to Fred Cook, 30 minutes in the third quarter, Phil, with that lovely one-hander right in front of goals.
Well, there are the scores, quarter by quarter, as the game went on today. We'll be with you again next week. In the meantime,
this is Bill Jacobs,
Ted Henrys,
Ian Gibbs,
and Philip Gibbs, wishing you a very good afternoon and taking you back to the studios.